Happy Sunday to you all. I hope you guys are all having a great weekend. Here's our watch list video. Well, in what seemed like no time at all, now all of a sudden here it is. New all-time highs here on the NQ, which is going to be the NASDAQ index here. And we also were near new highs. I'm not sure if we hit new highs on the ES, but nice new highs here on NQ. What I feel like is about to happen this week is we're going to come into a week, in my opinion, of consolidation. My expectations are not very high here this week, simply because of just how big this movement was here. So we get a big bar here. Oftentimes what happens here, especially on the indices, is when you get a giant bar like this, you get periods of consolidation. So you get something like this, or even if you go back into something like this. After these big, massive bars here, you don't typically see something that just puts in a massive bar and then continues to trend. So you can see this is a very common theme on the market, is a massive weekly bar here. Normally the next week digests that move. So my expectations are definitely lower here this week after a great last week, simply for the fact of I do think we could put in an inside bar and maybe come down and retest this prior region down here into like 22,000. Which from the daily chart makes sense because this was this last structure here where we came in, we retested, and then now we're trying to rip to the upside. We're also 5 daily bars in a row to the upside. So I'm not very open, or I don't think that we see just a strong trend momentum and continuation. If anything, I think we see a pullback and then range and consolidation here this week on what could very likely be an inside bar on the weekly chart. Now, with that being said, it could be a weekly inside bar here on the indices, but there are a few names that do look good. And the first one here is going to be this Amazon. And really where Amazon comes from is this thing ripped into the close. Like out of nowhere, this thing rallied. And this is a main watch on Friday, and it really didn't make much of a move. It made the move within the last hour of the day. This thing ripped from 216 all the way up into 223. So for me, if this opens above 223.29, what this is going to do then is we failed lower, we triggered this weekly, and it wouldn't surprise me to put in a weekly bar that looks something like this up into 233.60. So while yes, I do think we see an inside bar here on the weekly chart, or at least consolidation on the indices, this very well could see this trend in this follow through here after this relative strength, because we got such a sharp sell-off and now rally and move back up into that 242.52 area. So for me on Monday, either a back through open and relative strength setup over any of these two regions here, really over 224.78, puts us on the table then for a move up into 230, and that would be really my main watch, is any relative strength. So what I mean by relative strength is if the market's, say, pushing lower and all of a sudden Amazon's here, market comes into support, and we get a little pullback here on Amazon, looking to long that then up into 230. So that is the main watch here. Over 223.29, Amazon looks really, really good here this week. And Meta caught a great move on this one last week, and really this was nothing more than, and I mentioned this within our group chat, is this was nothing more than just a big move. And what do we see? Consolidation, just a double inside bar. And then we get this flag breakout here on the weekly. Now, what I think is likely to happen here from the daily chart is we get another little bar here, and it could be tomorrow, where it just comes and takes out these 740.91 highs, and then we just remain choppy and consolidating the rest of the week. But this was, it doesn't get much better than this. A textbook flag breakout here into a 3-bar play for that move here, and then a nice follow through right here. So definitely keeping an eye here on this one. If we can get that hold in that trend and follow through over, and let me go back in here, over really 729.28, but any relative strength on Monday, looking long up into 740.91 above. And then the last one here is Google. Overall macro, no doubt this one's weaker. The indices at all-time highs, and this is not anywhere near. But what I like to see here is from this weekly chart here, we tried to push lower, and all of a sudden we push lower, and boom, we slammed it, essentially trapping all of those shorts who got short right here, push it lower, and then boom, slam it higher, rip on some pretty nice volume here. So main watch here on this one this week is over 181.10, looking for a long up into 187.83. So any relative strength, any back throw open off of this area, if we can gap up on Monday and then just get this trend looking really, really good here to the upside here. You can see just how important this region is right in here, where you get this prior reject, turn support, and then reject. So over 181.10, looking for a move back up into this 187 area above. That being said, this wraps up our watch list video. Also got some big news. In the works is a free training and a free course. I look forward to providing that to you guys, breaking down everything, strategies, live trade examples, live trades, screen recorded, everything A to Z in under 2 hours so you can learn. So stay tuned and look forward to helping you guys. Have a great weekend, and I hope you guys all trade safe. Thank you.